So, hello everybody in the Now group. We are live up through Zoom because, like everybody, we're having technical issues. It's a really good way to start our day because Fiona is here with us, and Fiona is going to be talking about routine. And we just mess up everything with our routines to go. And I started off not even sending Fiona the link for us to meet today. So bless her, she's put up with my lack of routine. So I think what we're going to do is go over to Fiona and ask her, let's find out what we can do. So Fiona, who are you and what do you do?
Hi Lindsay, good morning. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Right, so I'm an NLP Master Practitioner, and I'm also a coach of a system called Never Binge Again. In the past I worked for Weight Watchers for 7 years, and now this is just an extension of this. So this is like helping people who binge eat, who have eating problems. So I do work on Zoom quite a lot, so I'm used to working on Zoom. I work with clients in this country, clients in America, Australia, and I also have a coaching room in my home, so I do one-to-one sessions as well. I do the occasional workshop as well, so I do workshops maybe once every couple of months, and it's generally on the subject of weight loss, binge eating, that type of thing. What you probably don't know is I also have a hairdressing salon, but unfortunately at the moment that's closed due to the circumstances, so I've got a lot more time to spend on the other side of my business just now. And at the beginning, oh God, I was really shell-shocked with everything that was going on, but now I've kind of settled into a daily routine and I'm getting the work done, so I'm very grateful to have work that I can do outside my other business. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. And what you said there, with routine, because your routine of going to your job, to your salon, and you would have got up, you would have got dressed, you would have had your breakfast, you would have went, you would have done your job, you would have come back. And our minds love routine, do they not? And then when our routines are messed up, tell me, what happens? What can we do?
So think about it, you probably get up in the morning and you do everything in the same order. You get up, you maybe go to the bathroom, take a shower, you might go have your breakfast, coffee, then you might do your hair, your makeup, might get dressed. So everybody does these things in a different order, but you probably do the same thing every day in life. Unless you're an NLP practitioner, and then you won't, because you'll be trying to juggle it up a bit, because that gets your mind working. So, and again, when you go out the door, you get into your car and you drive to work. If you think about it, you've probably got there on an automatic pilot. You don't have to think what way you're going. You just get in the car and you drive. And a lot of these routines serve us very well, but it can also really help to change your routines up a bit, because it makes your brain work a bit better. So what's happened with me recently is I've been making myself get up in the morning. I've been making myself take a shower, so that I'm off to a good start for the day. But what I'm finding is about lunchtime, I realise I haven't brushed my teeth. And that's because I'm out of my normal routine. So that's something I would never do. I would never go to work without brushing my teeth, but that's what's happening. And it's quite interesting. So I've been trying to change that routine every morning, so I'm really making my brain work, because we've all got these neural pathways in our brains which follow certain patterns of behaviour, and some of these patterns of behaviour serve us and other patterns don't serve us. They're not good habits and good routines. So when I work with people on their eating problems, that's what we work on. We work on these neural pathways in your brain and how to change them. And it can be difficult at the beginning because you've got these set patterns. So if you think about what you do on a weekly basis that doesn't serve you with the way you're eating, like even potentially eating a takeaway on a Saturday night, or eating sweets and chocolate in front of the TV and watching all the kind of crappy programs, that's a routine that's set in your neural pathways. You just do that on repeat, and that's possibly one thing that doesn't serve you very well. And also at the moment, what's happening is people are thinking that food is scarce, so they're their survival drive is kicking in and telling them they need to hoard food because they won't be able to get any in the future. But the survival drive is also telling them that they need to eat everything in sight because it might not be available at some point in the future. So I think a lot of people are going to come out of these few weeks, however long it is, not feeling great. So my advice to you would be to really build up a picture or a vision of how you want to feel when you come out of these few weeks on lockdown. You picture yourself stepping out your front door and you've now got freedom, okay? So things might be different in the future. We might not go back to exactly the way it was before, but you've got this freedom when you step outside your front door. How do you want to feel? How do you want to look? How do you want your health to be? Really build up a picture of what you want to be like. So even take a notepad and a pen or your iPad or phone and really build up a picture on that of how you want to look, how you want to feel, you know, what size do you want to be? Would you be happy gaining a lot of weight? You know, do you still want your clothes to fit you even? Because people are sitting in the house in their pajamas, their jogging bottoms. Do you want your clothes to fit you when you come out of all of this? And really, really build up a big picture and add to it every day if you can, and read it daily. And then you've got something to work towards.
So what you're saying is, don't go with the flow of our everydays, because going with the flow of our everyday is literally taking us right out of our routine. It's messed up the neurons in our brain, which when they are messed up, we get confused, we're tired, we can be angry, we can be all those negative feelings. So what with NLP, which if anyone doesn't know, is Neuro-Linguistic programming, and I'm sure Fiona will be able to help you more in knowing about NLP. But using that is really, isn't it, Fiona? It really is. When you say using your imagination and writing it down, it is being aware of how you are feeling and asking yourself, do I want to feel like this? And as you say, if the answer is no, change it by the methods you mentioned.
Yeah. So NLP, or Neuro-Linguistic programming, is basically looking at things from a different perspective. You know, changing your way of thinking, even looking at it from somebody else's perspective. That's a lot of what NLP is about. So, you know, look at this from a different perspective. What can I do to make a difference? What can I do to make changes? What can I learn? You know, do you want to sit about for the next however many weeks watching Netflix, eating yourself silly? Or do you want to come out of this feeling great? And I'm well into week 2, and I'm actually feeling great because I started jogging after a 7 years absence from jogging. And I think I will keep it up afterwards, but that's one of the changes I've made, and it's made me feel more alive. So you can either lie down to it and do nothing and come out of this feeling not great, or you can make changes and you can really come out of this feeling much better than you even did before, with a different perspective on life.
Oh, absolutely, totally. I mean, you've pointed out a really positive change, where you hadn't, yes, you probably thought about jogging, but you didn't have the time to jog. And now we do. And it's not necessarily jogging, it's doing, exercise if you want to do exercise, or reading that uplifting book or biography. Because going back to the neurons, I mean, these are literally electrical charges, are they not, in the brain?
Yeah.
And we can increase them. So with jogging, in your instance, because you're doing that every day, those neurons are being created even more. So if, for example, one day you missed jogging, you would know that, would you not?
Yeah, because I'm building it. It's a new routine that I've got now, and I'm now thinking, need to get the gear on, need to get out jogging. I'm not doing it every day because I don't think it's good in the beginning to do it every day, but at least I'm going for a long walk and appreciating the nature round about, which I haven't done for a long time, and listening to the birds singing. So change is always good. Change for the better.
So coming back to what we eat, and you're right, you know, we get up, we do whatever, we'll go and look in the fridge, we'll hope that there's something going to jump out the fridge that's never been in there before, something wonderful and fascinating. So what could we do? What could I do to get back into eating as I should? What do I need to create a new routine or what?
Well, you could give yourself a basic plan. You can write down the night before what you're going to eat. Obviously, we've got more time on our hands to actually experiment with food and not just eat the same old, same old. Find new recipes online. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people trying to save money just now as well. So have a look at what you can make that doesn't cost money. I've noticed all the tinned tomatoes are going in the supermarket. You know,
Really?
suddenly people are buying tinned tomatoes where they didn't cook before. Do they know what to do with them? But there's plenty of help on the internet to be able to find new recipes, and you know, you might even find that you enjoy cooking. One piece of advice I would give you from the work that I do with people who overeat, give yourself a set of rules and write the rules down, and really think about what even one thing would make a difference in this circumstance. What one rule can you give yourself that you can stick to, that will make a difference to your daily eating? And just put that in writing and read it every day and make a commitment to it, you know, because it's all very well writing it down if you don't make a commitment, but make a commitment. This is what I'm going to do. I've given myself some rules and I'm going to really follow these. Excellent. And then also what we do, we work with that little voice in your head which tells you that you don't want to do that, you can't do it. So really have a think about what that little voice in your head is saying and dispute what that little voice is saying. Come up with some good answers as to why it's telling you lies. It just wants you to overeat because it wants you to survive, but we know that we will survive.
I like that. I do. I like that because our voice in our head is constantly there. And now that I'm aware that it is actually just trying to keep me survived, keep me on this planet for as long as it can, and it will have me going back and forward to the fridge and the cupboard and taking out, you know, pasta and cheese and anything else I happen to have in there. But now that I know it's there, I can say, well, I actually just ate half an hour ago. I don't need to eat again. So
yeah.
What is
one? And another thing.
Oh yes, please.
Just say one more thing, Lindsay. Yeah. So every time you repeat a behaviour, you're strengthening the neural pathway in your brain that says that you must follow that behaviour. But every time you don't follow that behaviour, you're starting to delete that neural pathway. So one thing that helped me, I had a problem with binge eating for many, many years. And when I read the book that I worked from and I used the system and got in touch with the guy who wrote the book and started working for him, this is the one thing that really helped me. When I open the fridge and think, what can I eat next? What would kick in was, you know what, if I don't do this, then I'm starting to delete that neural pathway. In a few weeks' time, I won't even think about opening the fridge to look for something. So that really, really helped me. And that's one of the things I tell clients at the beginning. If you open the fridge or the cupboard and you don't follow through with that behaviour, then you're starting to weaken that pathway, and eventually it'll delete.
All right. So maybe if I go to the fridge, for example, and that's just look for something, I'm not hungry, I could have in my head to close the fridge and maybe go get a glass of water so that it's that I'm doing after. Excellent.
Love you're replacing the habit with the drink of water for a start, and you're not following through with a behaviour. So it's a behaviour pattern, a habit, whatever. So the more times you don't follow through with behaviour, the more you're starting to weaken that habit, and it won't be a habit anymore.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Fiona, for so much information there, how we can change. We're in control, basically. We can have, and I'm sure that anybody who would like to know more about what Fiona does, and certainly for what we're eating, which, yes, I'm guilty of going back and forth to the fridge. So I'm going to follow your idea there, Fiona. So, Fiona, I'm going to ask you one question, which I do with everybody at the end, something different. Now, I've just flung this one on you within the last 5 minutes before we came on air. And it's, how do you push yourself to be more creative every day?
Well, personally, I set aside time to learn something new every day. You know, I think if you learn something new every day, well, you know, after a week, that's 7 new things. After a month, 30, 31 things. And after a year, that's 365 things that you've learned. So if you can learn one new thing every day, what difference would that make to your life?
Wow.
There's a video clip I quite often show at my workshops, and it's a guy called Jeff Olson, and it's called The Slight Edge.
Right.
And it's about building up, you know, it's about making a small difference on a day-to-day basis and how it makes a long-term difference. One of the examples he uses is books. If you read 5 pages of a book every day for a year, what difference would that make to you? And it's a very small habit, and it's very easy to do, but it's also very easy not to do it. So if you think of it that way, it's very easy not to do it. You can't be bothered. But if you can read 5 pages of a book, how much more knowledge will you have at the end of a year, or 5 years, or 10 years?
Yes, that's really good. That
one thing every day.
Nice and simple, and it can change so many things on lots and lots of different levels. So thank you very, very much, Fiona. Lots of information there. And as I mentioned before, Fiona, well, Fiona's links are there. If you want to know anything about anything that Fiona can help you with, then I'm sure she's there to message or comment or whatever it is. But that's us for another broadcast.
Pick up the phone. I've got plenty of time to chat at the moment, so pick up the phone if you want to chat.
Now, can you refuse an invitation like that? Absolutely wonderful. So as Fiona said, if you want to know anything in connection with what we've talked about, or anything that you think that maybe Fiona can help you with that we've not talked about, then as Fiona says, pick up the phone on Messenger. You can just click on the call button and Fiona's there and we'll talk to you. Like she said, plenty of time to do lots of different things. So we're going to love you and leave you in the Now group. And so I'm going to say goodbye to Fiona in the Now group. And
thanks.
My pleasure. And goodbye to everybody in Now. And we'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.